the door and keep your eyes shut. The lights flicker, there's evil all around us. No one's safe from the nightmare. Cold sweat, so scared. Someone get me out of here. They say you better be afraid. The night's coming like fire from a hand grenade. There's no escaping tonight. It's coming alive.
It's Tuesday Night Live, 10 p.m. Eastern, around the nation, around the world. Here at the SLG Network and YouTube this week. It's Sports with Rich. I'm Rich Mancuso, as always. There's my co-host, my young protege, Robert the Wiz Rizzo. And 2 hours tonight of Sports with Rich till midnight. And, of course, it's going to be dominated by baseball. Big trading deadline day. We'll have the details. We'll run it down the best we can. Some keep it in the ring. Nobody beats the Wiz. Fact of the week. No guest this week. No, because we're devoting these 2 hours to baseball. And we'll get back on all our social media platforms next week. Meantime, tonight, like, comment, and subscribe. Join us on YouTube, Sports with Rich, and my channel, YouTube, Rich Mancuso. Like and please comment and please subscribe. And still, we will take your comments, also your questions in the cube, and we're getting them already from Jaime Rivera, who's saying good evening, and good evening to you, Jaime, and also to all of you out there watching Sports with Rich. We appreciate your support, the sponsors, and what's to come in the weeks and months ahead here on the program. So, Wiz, we're here, and we had a lot to do, and I know we had a busy week. How you doing?
Oh, we were busy this week. I'm doing great. Very energetic, like always. We got a lot of baseball to talk about, a lot of boxing to talk about. I'm ready to get to it.
Yeah, you're always energetic. Do you have your coffee with you tonight?
Huh?
Do you have that iced coffee in front of you?
No iced coffee.
Oh, shocking. Do you have a cheeseburger in front of you?
No.
Do you have a slice of pizza in front of you?
Nope.
But I got a new pair of specs. You know, I got to get used to these glasses because you know what they are? Transitional glasses. When I go outside in the sun, they darken. When I come back inside, they're regular. You know what? I got to get a raise, though. They cost a lot of money.
Who
wants to hear about that?
They look great.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Make me look a little younger than what I am. All right. Enough of that nonsense. Let's start off with keeping it in the ring because we have to talk about what we're coming off. Abella Boxing Promotions, their second show, Bergen County Fight Night. We were a major part of that. I did broadcast, and me and you also did a lot of the publicity work for the show. That's why we kept plugging it here on a program every week. But it was a major boxing show in the New York City tri-state area. Scott Abella, the promoter, tremendous job. The American Dream Mall, the second biggest mall in the country, hosted the event. We had a damn good time. I had a blast doing commentary. So we're going to do a little recap of that. We'll start with that. Keep it in ring, of course. If anybody missed it, you can catch everything on my Facebook page, Rich Mancuso, Twitter, Ring786, Instagram, Mancuso786, as well as the Riz, Robert Rizzo, who can be reached on Twitter. Where?
Robert Riz994. Follow me on Instagram, rrizzo4, and Facebook, Robert Rizzo.
And we both write for LatinoSports.com. A lot of content on there of the week, Yankees, Mets, baseball, boxing, whatever, including I write for NewYorkSportsDay.com and a little everywhere else because everybody knows by now. I'm a hooer in the business. Anyway, here we go. Let's take a look at the main event was 6 rounds, and I really enjoyed talking to him. We didn't have him on the show, but we got to meet him, we got to talk to him, and we got to enjoy his fight. Harley Heavy Hands Race. Let's take a look at his fight. He prevailed first time 6 rounds. He usually knocks guys out in the first round. Super middleweight versus Brandon Maddox, and here's a little bit of that. You know, Wiz, that exciting end of the night, and he had everyone going. He had everyone on their feet, including over 300 or 250 fans of 3 busloads that he brought down of Irish contingent fans. Harley is of Irish descent from Yonkers, New York, and they were awfully loud, weren't they?
Yeah, the crowd was rocking every round, and we were surprised, even the fans, because like you said, he hasn't gone more than one round. He was 6-0 entering the night. I think 7-0 with 7 knockouts. Make that 8 wins already. So he's just building up that record. We talked to him after the fight. He was just so happy to be fighting in front of his fans, his family, because he was explaining how he only fought down south. He's not used to fighting in Jersey in front of the home state crowd, you know?
He was disappointed, but he was excited that he got a win, and he's going to fight and be more consistent. What he said to her, though, from the beginning of this, if I don't knock a guy out in the first round, I'm not satisfied. He wants a knockout, and I kept saying that on the broadcast. He doesn't want to go to a decision, but he won that fight commandingly. He did real well. He's got good ring technique, and as they say in the business, a technical fighter with a good jab, good punch, good speed to his punch, and he's going to be exciting. It's a matter of him getting up and moving up the ladder and being more consistent. So that was a great main event to close the show Friday night at the American Dream in East Rutherford, New Jersey for Abella Boxing Promotions. And the broadcast position was interesting. I said hello to a lot of people. You were busy handling the media that came by and gave us great coverage. But I was honored to do the broadcast with, he's turned out to be a great friend, a former pro fighter, Richard Pearson, who wants to get back in the ring, well known in New Jersey, knows his knowledge. He knows boxing better than anyone, inside out. Added great analysis to the 10-fight card. And I was joined by Anthony Johnson, who I finally got to work with after all these years. He, AJ as we call him, Channel 7 Witness News, ABC in New York. I was also impressed with his boxing knowledge, and we got a little clip of what we did at ringside during broadcasting one of the fights. Let's take a look at it. Yeah, it was a nice professional setup for a small show. You know, almost felt like it was HBO, Showtime, whatever it was, Wiz, and the monitor there. You know, when you're broadcasting a fight at ringside, I've done it a few times. I must admit, it's not easy to do. You have to focus not only on the ring, but the monitor in front of you. But AJ was good, and so was Pearson. And you know what? Did you like my blazer?
Oh, yeah, you looked fresh. That's what me and the young people call it.
Fresh. Okay, yeah, that's the word, fresh. Yeah, I had that blazer and Rich, you know, he's colorful all around, Richard Pearson. And AJ, he's just the ultimate professional as a broadcast. So hope we do it again, and we might be soon. And then afterwards, we went over and we had got to meet some of the fighters. One thing about working a pro boxing show on the level we did is getting to know the pro fighters up close, getting to know a lot about them, and we did during the past month. In particular, this guy, a Harvard University graduate, came to and lives in Malibu Beach or out there in Long Beach, California, out in LA. And Dario Guerrero, a middleweight, he came cross country, did the job. There he is with his trainer, me and you, after the fights. And Dario is a young man now, 1-2-1, got his first win. He's about 28 years old, Wiz.
Yeah, I believe he's 27. Yeah, he's
got
watching right now. Actually,
yeah, he is watching, huh?
Yeah, he commented saying, "How's it going?"
Well, how's it going, Dario? How's it going? We're doing good. We're tired, but we're here, and we're glad to be a part of that show with you. Congratulations, Dario Guerrero, a Harvard University graduate. Which, you know, for a fighter, you don't hear that. And he used his smarts in the ring and got the decision in the middleweight bout with, he did defeat a guy we love so much, Jade Ivory. You know, but Ivory, he got it. His face looked like a roadmap, a bloodbath. And,
it was an awesome back and forth fight. And what I was going to say before is the biggest takeaway from working these boxing events is getting close to the fighters, learning about their background. Equality Pearson said Dario hit the books just as hard as he hits the opponent. I like that.
Well, that must be Richard Pearson. That's Richard Pearson. The name is Pearson. The comment sounds like it's coming from Richard Pearson. Thanks, Rich.
We're glad you guys are watching.
And we're glad that everyone got in on the show. And it was a great show. It was again. And we hope to do it again real soon. And Dario, our pleasure. Keep it in the ring. So there were 10 bouts on that card. Every one of them was competitive. There were only 2 knockouts on the whole evening. TKO. Robert Terry, the Tiger, as they call him, right? He won again. Second fight in a row for an Abella show. This is the second one. And every fight was competitive. 4 and 6 rounders. That's the one thing you're going to learn if you go to an Abella Boxing promotion show. The fights are competitive. And that's because the matchmaker, Diana Rodriguez, knows how to put the fighters together. That's a key part of any boxing show, the matchmaker. Congratulations to Scott Abella again, to Diana Rodriguez, the matchmaker, to Rob Park, the operations manager. I also want to thank Rebecca Rube, who handled the ringside interviews in the ring. Professional as can be. She has a YouTube show. I forget the name of it right now. Great presence to be the 4th member of the commentary team. To everyone involved, great job. And we're going to see you again real soon. All right. We'll do more Keep It in the Ring in a moment, but Wiz, it's baseball. And the majority of this show is baseball because the Major League Trading Deadline came and went, and quick and angry, as I say. Well, not angry, but a pace of trades today that I could not keep up with. There were 41 trades in the last 2 days. 25 trades today. And some prominent names and some things that come out of it. Montos, Castillo last week, Benedetti a couple of days ago with the Yankees, Bader and Montgomery, the Yankees was a surprise. Noah Syndergaard, no longer with the Angels. You know, he's now with the Phillies. He made them stronger. The Phillies now with Syndergaard, back with Zach Wheeler and Noah. That's a good 3 for the Phillies. They got stronger. So did the National League East. The Braves got a little stronger. So the National League East got stronger for the Mets, who lost tonight. We'll get into that in a moment. Luke Voigt went. Just a crazy bunch of trades. We can't name every name. A lot of minor leaguers went in deals, prospects as they're called. That's what teams did. In fact, the Mets stayed away from giving away their top 3 prospects, including Francisco Alvarez and Mauricio. Billy Epler was on a conference call with media earlier tonight and explained why. The Mets, when Steve Cohen bought this team, as you know, did not want to give away top prospects, but they felt they've improved. We're going to go into that. Also about these Padres now with Juan Soto and the blockbuster trade. This has been a memorable trade deadline for baseball with all the players, the teams that needed help got it, and the San Diego Padres easily won it because they got Hader, they got Soto, the coveted guy, Josh Bell from the Nationals as well, and they gave away their top prospect in the game in that trade, the top prospect in baseball, and on the Padres, was Padres easily the winners here.
Yeah, for sure. It was a hectic day. The phone kept blowing up on Twitter. I felt like every minute there was a new notification, but the Padres won the day for sure. They even picked up Brandon Drury like 10 minutes before the deadline ended, and he has 15 homers on the season. So just they keep adding and adding. And the biggest thing with the deadline, I believe, is you see the difference in teams' farm systems and how other franchises view them. Because the Padres, they had a stacked farm system compared to these other franchises in for Soto. And at the end of the day, that's what A.J. Preller and the Padres, I think, won the day for, you know?
Preller does things like this. I know his assistant GM real well. They do things like this, and Soto was on their radar from the beginning. He's under team control for another 2 years, so at least 2 more years, Soto could be an impact player for the Padres in winning the division and in the wild card. They won a World Series, and they won it this year. As all the teams that have a shot at it in October made the moves they had to make, and that was pitching. Now the Padres are all of a sudden a very potent and deep lineup. Fernando Tatis will be coming back soon. Manny Machado and Juan Soto. You can't do better than that with those 3 in the heart of your lineup.
Yeah, no shot. That's the best trio in baseball right now, and I believe in another 3 weeks or so, we're going to see it all fresh in the open because we got Tatis coming back in 2.5 weeks, I think, and the Padres have a 2-game lead in the wild card right now for the second spot. I know it's going to go back and forth. We'll talk about it, but obviously that's the best lineup in baseball when everything's considered with health. You know.
They're not going to win the division. The Dodgers are going to win the division, but the Padres will get one of the top wild card spots. And the Mets have to be careful because if they don't win their division against the Braves, those Padres could be their opening opponent. So what did Jason Rivera say there?
He said happy he didn't go to the Dodgers or Yankees, and I totally agree.
I agree there too. Good point, Jay. Thank you. Good point. All right, let's take a look at Frankie Montes. He was one of the coveted pitchers on the that was rumored to go. Castillo, of course, with Seattle. I'll see him tomorrow again at Yankee Stadium. Castillo against Cole as the Yankees and the Mariners wrap up their 3-game series in the Bronx. And Castillo helping Seattle was a block. You know, I was surprised. I didn't think he was going to go to the Mariners, and his hair is now green and not red. The dreaded locks of his. But Frankie Montes, who had some injury issues this year with the arm, the elbow, or the arm, or the shoulder, I believe, he's not going to make his Yankee debut right away. His wife just gave birth. He's going to join the team in St. Louis on this road trip that begins at the end of the week. Good pickup for the Yankees, though, who need pitching. They need starting pitching.
I think Montes was a great pickup because all things considered, when you look at the playoff rotation, it's obviously Garrett Cole. And then game 2 is a question mark, either Cortez and now Montes. And that's a great pickup for the Yankees because now you can add in any other guy you need in that bullpen. And they did it today. And with other guys returning from injury, guys developing their arms, it's going to make good proof in the playoffs.
Severino wasn't happy. They put him on the 60-day injured list. One of the reasons the Yankees had to go get a starter or even 2. Domingo Germán is not going to be much of a help. Tonight, James Taillon once again with the home run ball. Jordan Montgomery going's a surprise. Didn't expect that. But the Yankees feel that confident now that they have good starting pitching that will take him deep into October. Brian Cashman once again came up big. He always does. And the good thing about it is he did not have to give up any of their big prospects. And still with them is Florio down in AAA and Andujar. The Yankees still have 2 good players in AAA they could bring up any time, and they kept them. They didn't trade him down. So kudos to the Yankees again. They even got a right-handed reliever, Louis Trevino, that's going to help him out in the bullpen. You got to give the Yankees and Brian Cashman a big A, Wiz.
Yeah, I like all the moves they made. They started early. They made moves last Wednesday or last Thursday with Benintendi, and then they just added on with, I think his name is Scott Efris for a
another
reliever.
One.
Yeah, yep. Another move. And then you see Montes the other day. They traded Waldichuk, Sears, Luis Medina, and Cooper Bowman, and I believe none of them were in the top 5 for their prospect system. So that's a great pickup for them. And for the postseason, that's the guy you need.
Yes, Jameson, we feel the Mets did pretty well. I'm going to get to that in a moment. Trevino, big pickup for the Yankees bullpen. You know what? He's had 42 innings to pitch this year so far, and 8 saves since June 25th. The Yankees need some type of setup help. Well, Weisiger wasn't doing it. He's still not the strength. They're trying to ease Chapman back in, and it might be working a little better for them with Aroldis Chapman. As I said, the bullpen has been suddenly become an issue for the Yankees, and Castro might be out a little while longer. Lucas Licky is not doing it. All of a sudden, Clint Holmes is having a little problem. Clark Schmidt's down in AAA. The Yankees that went out. Brian Cashman got a good right-handed reliever, and Lou Trevino.
Yeah, I think that was a great pickup. I believe he's injured right now, but he'll be back before September starts. And they have a 3-game lead on the Astros for home field advantage. I believe that's the biggest goal for the Yankees going into September is to have that home field, especially with Garrett Cole game 1. You need that. And for them, with, like you said, Montas, Benintendi, bullpen, that's the biggest part right now.
And the big thing for Montgomery, Josh Hader, who's injured, Don't know when he's going to be back. They see within 2 weeks, but they got probably one of the best defensive outfielders in the game, at least in the American League. Back me up, Wiz. I got
He
him
was
today.
in Cardinals trade.
Right,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
in
He was
fact,
a Gold
he's
Glover last year.
a great defensive outfielder, and may not be much of a home run hitter, but in Yankee Stadium, everybody can hit a home run. Even I could do it if I tried.
I think he was a great addition, especially going into September when he's healthy, is because Judge can move back to his primary position back in right field, and Bader can be the top defensive guy.
Harrison Bader.
Center.
A local guy, Bronxville, New York. He plays well in New York. He did against the Mets all the time at Citi Field. You know, we talk about Brian Cashman in minor leaguers and what he's done since 2021 last year. He's traded 33 minor leaguers, but they haven't been impact prospects that would affect the organization. So, Brian Cashman continues to do it. That's why he's got longevity with the Yankee organization, and the Yankees came up winners again. Stanton's still hurt, so they needed some outfield help. They got it. Could be a crowded outfield when he comes back. Aaron Hicks hasn't done much, and Joey Gallo's gone. Now they're the Dodgers. He knew that was coming.
Yeah, that was a sneaky move this afternoon, going to the Dodgers. I think it could help Gallo. Obviously, people are saying he can't handle the big city, but it's just another obstacle he'll get through in his career. I think he handled New York well, all things considered, with the crowd booing him every freaking game. And he did that.
But Wiz, he struck out like 94 times or more as a Yankee in a year since last July when he got here. One of the worst hitters in baseball. He couldn't do it here. I wouldn't do it in Dodger Stadium.
No, I totally agree with that. I'm giving him the good luck charm, hopefully, with the Dodgers. But honestly, he could have done what Mets fans saw last year with Baez, booing the fans right back. And in New York, that's not going to work. So I think Gallo did the approach Stanton did early in his Yankees tenure. Stanton got booed a lot throughout his tenure, and he took it as is, never bashed them back. And now you see Stanton, when healthy, he's MVP candidate.
Oh, and so is Aaron Judge, who we're talking about now. Didn't hit a home run tonight, and the Yankees look like they're going to lose to Seattle tonight. The Yankees hit home runs, though. They always do. Trevino won again, and Donaldson won. Judge for the second straight week, American League Player of the Week. That doesn't happen much. Two weeks in a row. It homered 4 of his last 6 games, 348 average, 5 home runs during that streak with 10 RBI to become American League Player of the Week. Again, the Yankees don't have to worry about home runs. They have a team that hits home runs. The guy doing a lot of it is Aaron Judge. And during this deadline, Aaron Judge was an issue with Juan Soto. A lot of reasons why the Yankees didn't go pursue Soto. You can't pay both. Soto's going to want $400 million. He already said that. Judge, Soto. Who do you keep? I mean, Soto, to me, is the best player in the game. Judge hits home runs. He's going for a record. I think he hits 65, and the way he's doing it, I think it's going to have to be 17 home runs away from that.
Yeah, I think he's definitely going to do it. It's just a matter on when, because that's what we look at is 61 by Maris?
By Maris, yeah.
Because all the steroid guys, it's just an asterisk, honestly, in the 70s. So if once he beats that, and it being a Yankee, it's going to make news big time.
And Judge is natural, and I'm going to see him again tomorrow. As long as he keeps this pace up, he doesn't get hurt, he's going to hit 65. AL MVP, unprecedented year for this guy. And the Yankees are not going to get rid of him. They've been buzzed about it. He can go nowhere. He'll sign. He'll get money. He may not get $400 million, but he stays in New York and the Bronx. He's going to get paid a lot of money, but I don't think he's going to get the Soto money that he thought he was going to get. All right, cross town, it's the Mets, and they were busy. Not as busy as Met fans wanted. J.D. Davis, my friend, is gone. They were having trouble at DH. They got Darren Ruff from the Giants. Good right-hander. They need it. Then they can platoon that with what's his name? Vogelback?
Yeah, Daniel Vogelback.
Okay, I got it right.
Yeah, there you go.
Clap. Give me a clap. Give me applause. Ruff and Vogelback are better than JD and Dom. I love JD. Everyone knows my association with him. We got close in a few years here in New York. The pandemic year, he had a good year. He got hurt. Uh, he had his moments, good moments, but mostly bad the last couple of years. JD's a San Francisco Giant. I spoke to him briefly today after the trade. He thanked all the Met fans. He's going to miss New York, but he's closer to home now. He lives in Glen Grove, California, not far from San Francisco. And he'll fit in the Giants lineup and adapt it real well, whether it be the DH, first base, outfield. He may make an impact for those Giants. They're going to miss him. I enjoyed working and associating with J.D. Davis, but the Mets, they made some moves, Wiz, and they did not make the impact move fans wanted, but they improved in the bullpen with Trevor May coming back. Tell us about the Met moves, Wiz.
Yeah, I like the Darren Ruff move earlier today. He's batting .216 with 58 hits. Great DH bat. Moving into the Mets lineup, honestly, over JD and Dom Smith. And then you add in Vogelback, who they got last week. I think, especially when you move in the lineups, left-handers and right-handers, they hit left-handers great, and that's one thing Mets were struggling with. They missed out on JD Martinez, Wilson Contreras, the guys everyone was talking about throughout the week. But they got the reinforcements they need without giving the big prospects we all know of.
It's always the Mets, though, that need what they need, and they may not get it. But Steve, the owner, said when he purchased his team last year, they were not going to give away their top prospects, and they held to that. And during a conference call after the trade deadline today, GM Billy Epler said that. They wanted to get Contreras. They were looking at David Robinson, who ended up going back to the Phillies as their closer, but they did not give up with their future. They said they weren't going to do that. The Cubs were adamant about getting those prospects from the Mets. The Mets didn't back that, and I'm glad they didn't because they need those guys, and those guys are the future for this Mets team.
Jamie said, plus Vogelback is a great locker room guy. And
yes, he is. Yeah, he is. And he gets on base. What he does is he walks. He does get on base. He works the pitch count. He does. He's good at that. He hasn't had a major impact yet, but he does get on base in a few games he's been here. The attention tonight, the Mets got their trade today. When Jacob deGrom returned after 390 days, 91 days not on the mound because of the recurring elbow issue or whatever bothers them. We hope he stays healthy now. And deGrom's numbers tonight, as the Mets would end up losing down in Washington, D.C., a depleted Nats team that has nothing left, but they look like a minor league team. Here are deGrom's numbers tonight. 5 innings, 3 hits, a run, no walks, 6 strikeouts, 13 swings and misses. His fastball velocity at 102. His changeup at one point went close to 90 or more. His curveball was around the same, so his velocity was great. His location was great, and Jake is back. And so the Mets now, for the first time this season, had their strong 1-2 punch in the rotation. Max Scherzer, Jacob deGrom. What do you think, Wiz?
Yeah, he looked great tonight. He didn't struggle at all, going, 100 miles per hour, it seemed like every freaking pitch. But even the balls in play, they were weakly hit. It wasn't much saying against the Nationals, but he's versus Atlanta on Sunday afternoon, and I expect a packed house at Citi Field for that. But that's the one thing the Mets need going into August and September is a healthy deGrom, a healthy Scherzer to be going 6 to 7 innings, because after this deadline, we've seen that they only made 1 or 2 moves for that bullpen, and it might not hold up. Michael Gibbons, they picked up earlier this afternoon.
That's a Buck Showalter guy out of Baltimore. His days managing in the Orioles down in Baltimore. So he knew him well. He vouched to Mets hierarchy, get him. When they looked at it, he said, get him.
Yeah,
so
he's
they
having
know
a great,
each other.
And he's having a great year because you add him with Edwin Diaz. Michael Gibbons has 2.66 ERA on the season and 40 innings pitched. So add Diaz with that. That's a great 1-2 punch in the bullpen, and you mix in guys like Lugo, like Drew Smith, if it has to come to that. I don't like the fact that Joely Rodriguez is the only left-hander. What are your thoughts on that?
I agree, Wiz. The Mets lacked the left-handed punch out of the pen. And that's what the fans of New York for the Mets were looking for. I still think that bullpen, Trevor May are not returning as the right-hander, need help. They didn't do it. I felt they failed to do that. Gibbons is one guy. But tonight in D.C., guys that really get in for the Mets out of the pen, they did not give. First, the Mets gave Grom no run support. Every time DeGrom pitches, they never give him run support. So welcome back, Drake. The pen is an issue. Until, to me, it still is. You can't keep giving the ball to this guy, Edwin Diaz. Edwin Diaz was, again, the National League Player of the Week. And he continually strikes out guys. His slider is unhittable right now. His fastball is unhittable right now. He's striking out guys at a strikeout ratio. I mean, I don't know what the percentage is as of today, but it is a tremendous strikeout ratio. But the Mets bullpen cannot just revolve around Edwin Diaz. So I feel that the Mets, Billy Epler, and I think this was a Sandy Alderson move. He's still working behind the scenes for them. The Mets failed to address that bullpen need. And there were guys out there, but I got to say this. Teams were looking for some of their top prospects. Alvarez, Montero, and the Mets weren't going to give that up. But they didn't want the other guys that they were looking to package in a trade. I still think this is a nemesis for the Mets. It's an albatross for them. And we're going to see now down the stretch how well this bullpen performs, Wiz.
Yeah, that's the number one factor going into October, because if the bullpen's not performing, we're going to see Atlanta turn the tables. Atlanta picked up Rafael Iglesias to pair with Kenley Jansen today. That's a scary one, too, in the bullpen, and we'll be seeing that later this week at Citi Field with Braves Mets. It's a 5-game series coming up. Division could just flip like that. So
well, the Phillies got better.
I was really surprised that the Mets didn't go in on especially a left-hander reliever. I was looking into Gregory Soto from the Tigers when they announced they were having a fire sale on everybody.
Yeah. You could bring up Soto. You could bring up Hader that they were talking about getting. So fairly, I don't rate the Mets a B. I think the trade deadline becomes a C. I still think they're a very good team, the Mets. But the major thing is, the bullpen, and I still think they needed another impact back in their lineup. But let's face it, they are still in first place. They could lose first place this weekend. That's a big 5-game series with the Braves stacked in the middle there Saturday with a day-night doubleheader, which I'll be at. But Edwin Diaz is their bullpen. Alonso has to hit home runs. They have to hit more home runs. Tonight, they didn't hit, and I still think they needed another impact bat. They did not get it. Darren Ruff is not the answer. I'm sorry. Neither was JD or Dom Smith on the injuries list, still with the team. Any other, and we're going to talk more about it again, but Wiz, any other major things that stick out? The trades today, there were so many, you couldn't keep track. Just one after another. Any other big name? What do you think?
Yeah, we'll go into depth in each trade and everything like that. But the overall factor I saw with the Mets and the Padres making all their deals is how the Padres held off on a lot of guys throughout the years to build up their farm system to be in a position like they were today to land a guy like Juan Soto. So I think the Mets are doing the path and the projections the way the Padres are and were. So I think it's a good path they're going in for overall landing a superstar, not just in free agency, but at the trade deadline.
I think the Phillies did real well. I'm going to go back to them in the division in the NL East. Because if Syndergaard, who didn't pitch that bad with the Angels, he give you 5.5, 6 innings of pitching. His ERA was pretty respectable, a little under 3. But if Syndergaard is up to being Noah Syndergaard again, and I think he can be, along with Zach Wheeler, his former teammate. Wheeler is having a good season. and Noah. Those are three good starters in the Philly rotation. The Phillies may not win the division, but they're in that wild card hunt with a lot of other teams in the NL. So I think the Phillies did real well.
Yeah, I like the Phillies' moves. They're in contention for a wild card spot, and Bryce Harper's supposed to be back by the end of the year, hopefully. Every time he's on the field, that's a positive for the game. Any fan has to tune into Bryce Harper. But overall, with the Phillies, they're gonna have to contend with the Braves and the Mets throughout the season. And I think next week, Mets Phillies are coming in, right?
Yes, they are. They have the Phillies, I think, one more time, but the Braves a lot more times. The Nationals one more time. I mean, they've been in their division. They did it all year. They've been doing it all season. But the Dodgers are going to be coming to Citi Field next month. I don't know if the Mets will have first place by the end of next week. I just got this feeling the Mets are not going to be in first place by the end of next week. I said that a week ago, 2 weeks ago. I still believe that. I think the Braves are a better team, and they're just making their move to bypass them. Met fans are going to hate me for that comment, but I believe I'm right. I'm biased. Who said that? Joseph? I'm biased. He says, hate the Astros. No, I don't hate the Astros. Yankees, Astros are going to be the two teams in the ALCS. I don't hate the Astros. Those two teams are evenly matched, but the Astros went and got Vasquez. They needed a catcher. Why couldn't the Mets get him for the Red Sox?
They were interested.
I want to know why the Mets could not get Vasquez.
Yeah, that was a great deal by Houston because he's a winner at the end of the day. He fits any clubhouse he joins. And they added Trey Mancini, another guy the Mets were interested in.
And why couldn't the Mets get Mancini? Now, the Orioles, from what I was told from one of my sources, good sources today, the Orioles were not looking for that big prospect. So why did the Mets steer away from Mancini? He would have been a perfect fit in the Met lineup. I don't understand that.
Yeah, I don't get it. I don't understand that move, and it seems like Houston didn't give up that much for Mancini. I believe it was a 3-man trade with Tampa receiving Jose Siri. We got another comment.
Jaime Rivera is really at it with us here on the program tonight. He said after the Mets, the Blue Jays and Astros are favorites. Now, why would the Blue Jays be favorites? The Blue Jays are not the favorites. They got a little help in their bullpen. We're going to go over the moves they made. During the next break coming up, we'll review that. But the Blue Jays, to me, they're in the wild card. They're not going to win the division. But it's Yankees, Astros. They're the premier teams in the American League.
Yeah, for sure.
No one else. Other teams are vying for a wild card. It's Yankees, Astros.
Yeah, Yankees, Astros for sure. And it has the capabilities and the potential to be more exciting than the actual World Series. Yankees, Astros has the drama, the storylines, the superstars on each side. So we have to see that in a 5-game, a 7-game series, whichever it is, you guys, that's the number one event in October.
All right, Wiz, we're gonna talk more about this big day in Major League Baseball. The trade deadline, to me, was the most interesting, busiest trade deadline period that Major League Baseball has had. I can't remember a day like it was today. Unbelievable. As I said earlier, again, the last 2 days, 41 trades, 25 today. Some are still coming in late as they dot the I's and the T's and cross the T, whatever. They were announced, but not official. So more are coming in, not major. The big news again, San Diego Padres, Juan Soto, Josh Bell, Padres blockbuster, giving up their top prospect. And also a lot of prospects. The Padres are loaded with prospects. I know their chief scout, assistant GM always tells me that. All right. So we'll have more on that coming up. We're going to take our first break. Your questions and comments in the queue here at Sports with Rich here on the SLG Network tonight on YouTube exclusively only. Like, comment, and subscribe on the SLG Network YouTube page, on Rich Mancuso, my page on YouTube. That's the Wiz, Robert Rizzo. I'm Rich Mancuso. But before we take our first break and get an update from our great producer, John, who I hope puts a little more into the into the updates tonight. What do you think's coming up, Wiz? What do I got?
For fact of the week. Ooh,
Yeah. Are you ready for this one? You know, that Aaron Judge bobblehead.
It's going to be a tough one. I know it.
How can you tell by the expression of my face? Do
Well,
my new glasses give it away?
Well, that, and it's the trade deadline, so I feel like anything's possible with your question.
All right, well, you know, the Aaron Judge bobblehead, 6 weeks, I haven't been able to give it away. 5 or 6 weeks. I wonder if you or anyone will get it right now. You know, we're talking trade deadline, all right? And let me, okay? Do you know, and this is a fact, not trivia. Remember, it's different from a fact. Trade deadline, back then, a player was traded for a catcher, all right, and ended up being trading himself. First player traded for himself, believe it or not. It's crazy. This is crazy, all right? A trade deadline came, a player to be named later. This player was traded for himself as the player to be named later in a trade. You know, one of those player to be named later things. This is crazy. You know, I'll tell you the year and I'll tell you who it was. But that's happened only once. A player to be traded later and then traded for himself as that player. That's fact of the week. Try getting that one. Aaron Judge, I think, still going to be here with me.
I think so, too.
Update time with John. Sports with Rich. Then we'll take a brief break and come back. We'll have more Keep It in Ring and baseball. Sports with Rich back after this.
Thanks, guys. Unfortunately, the New York Mets tonight did not win as they were playing the Washington Nationals down in Washington. They lost by the score of 5-1. Right now, the Rockies and the Padres right now are starting off, but they are tied right now 2-2. And the New York Yankees are currently losing 8-6. They're in the middle, going into the bottom of the ninth inning. So you're going to definitely want to check out that game. The Braves, this team that never seems like they ever want to lose, is now pretty much destroying Philly right now by a score of 13-1. They're at the end of the eighth. The Tigers are currently winning over the Twins by a score of 5-3. The Orioles are winning 6-1 over the Rangers. The Red Sox are defeating the Astros by a score of 2-1. They're in the bottom of the eighth. The Royals are currently losing to the White Sox by a score of 9-2. They're in the top of the eighth. Angels are up 2-0 over the A's, top of the fourth. In the bottom of the third, in one of the best rivalries out in California right now, the Dodgers are currently defeating the Giants by a score of 5-0. These games have gone final right now. The Padres over the Rockies by a score of 13-5. The Reds over the Marlins by a score of 2-1. The Pirates over the Brewers by a score of 5-3. Diamondbacks over the Guardians 6-3. Blue Jays over the Rays 3-1. The Cardinals blanked the Cubs by a score of 6-0. And that was your sports update right here on Sports with Rich. Going to take a quick breather, and then the guys will be back talking some more sports right here on the SLG Network. We'll be right back right after this.
What's good, everybody? My name is Caleb from the Bayou City Boys over here on the SLG Network. Happy to announce that we are now working with Dano's Seasoning. So if you're anything like me, you meal prep all the time, Dano's is the way to go, man. They got multiple flavors. Hit them up. Be sure to use our code SLG Network. Appreciate every single one of y'all. Peace.
Spending money like it's nothing. I don't have a budget. Please don't get offended when you see the kids stunting. Got my queens with me, but it ain't no Scarborough bluffing. See, I'm riding solo while dependent bitches cuffing. I got all I need, me, myself, and I just love it. I've been gone.
It's hot. Do you feel hot?
Yeah, I got a bunch of fans going. Right now I got 2 going.
I mean, when is it going to get cool? I want rain.
Yeah, I think there's going to be rain coming in this weekend, so you'll get your wish.
You know, by the way, before we continue and keep it in the ring here, this is Sport with Rich Live, SLG Network, YouTube, and like, comment, and subscribe, SLG Network, and my page, Rich Mancuso on you. Comment in the queue. We want to hear from you. We're getting some good comments tonight. You know, I got to talk about this escapade in Jersey. Riz and I had an escapade, real brief. I mean, First of all, we stayed in nearby Secaucus. We were 5 minutes away from the American Dream. We had to stay there 2 nights. We weren't going to deal with tolls and traffic. God, every time you leave New York, you want to go across the bridge to Jersey, there's traffic all the time. It doesn't stop.
No,
He does the driving, and I'm busy watching, and I'm also looking at my phone. So I give him a lot of patience for that. And then where we stayed, and it was pretty good. I'm not going to give the name of the establishment because I gave them a bad review. All right. But I don't need to be subjected to getting a phone call in the room about being in a non-smoking room. Everyone knows I'm a smoker, and I know I got to quit. I hope my doctor isn't watching because I told her I quit. All right. And then we get a phone call that we're violating hotel policy. You're not supposed to smoke. I didn't know it was a no smoking facility. Had I known that, I wouldn't have booked that place. That's one problem. The other problem is no place to really eat in the area. Everything closes early. And where am I going to go? To Manhattan, 10 minutes away, 15 minutes away to get something to eat? No.
Yeah, that was one of many obstacles.
And then I'm on the lawn. I'm outside getting some air outside my room, our room, which was very comfortable. And then I got to have these two dames, and I have nothing against, very pretty, very nice. They're their doors open, the blue lights are on in the room, and I have to say, "Hi, how's your day going?" So busy, I'm tired. No, thank you. I'm a married man, which I'm not. I don't have to be subjected to that.
You're a working man.
Now I know I have some friends my age and even a little younger that would have gone in that room. Not me. I didn't go there to have a good time. I'm working. But the Wiz just sat there and he goes, "You know what? I'll be right back." All right?
Now,
he didn't go in the room. No. He said, "I'll be right back." But he didn't go in the room. I know that. And if he did, I didn't care. I'm just, But anyway, I got to get to the thrust of this story. Before we move on, do keep it in the ring. The Wiz is working, and he doesn't know when to stop. I tell him, take a break. He's got the laptop. He's on the desk. He's doing this. He's putting all the reports in for the show, doing this and that. He's making sure I have the right notes secure for the broadcast the night before. And even when we got back after the long night of boxing, and he's over there, and it's like, does this guy ever sleep? I thought I was an insomniac. Okay? So, but then the first thing he does in the morning, he's got to go to Dunkin' Donuts. He's got to go get his iced coffee or his, what is it, egg and cheese?
Egg and bacon. You got to start the day right.
That's all he eats. That's all he eats. Well, anyway, I had a good time with the Wiz. Most of all, a professional job as always that he did my young protege. I'm going to be leaving soon. He's taking over the ship. All right, ready to do some keep it in the ring now. Let's talk boxing, then we'll get to the wrestling talk. Now we get to the fight of the weekend as Danny Garcia. That's why I'm very tired. This weekend it's been crazy. At ringside for Danny Garcia and Jose Benitez Jr. And Garcia at 154, a successful debut. Benitez thought he won the fight. I only gave him. I gave Garcia. Garcia to me only lost 3 rounds. Garcia is ready at 154. He could go back to 147. He called out a Stan Lara at 154 or Charlo at 154, and then he wants to avenge the loss that he had to Keith Thurman, where he lost the welterweight titles a few years ago. 19 months out of the ring, Thurman and Garcia is back. Now, if you read my piece on LatinoSports.com, as you saw on the national Showtime telecast, very compelling post-fight interview with Jim Gray. Garcia, as I documented, said, and he cried, and it was compelling. Suffering from anxiety and depression. I gave him a lot of credit for doing that because Wiz, what he did is a national figure as he is, a professional athlete as he is, came out, his message, mental illness is a major issue in this country. Everyone knows that. And he let everyone know he can get over it. You can get over it. So I commend Danny Garcia. And as I wrote, His win was big. It was important. But that message coming out about suffering from anxiety and depression the last year or two, whatever, since he left the ring after his loss to Errol Spence Jr., that was more significant. And for that, Danny Garcia became my hero.
Yeah, no, that was a great fight, and I watched majority of it with the UFC because there were so many fights going on.
I know over the summer, but the Danny Garcia story still gets to me. And I want Danny on this program, and we're going to try and do it when he's free.
I was going to say, everyone watching right now, go look at Latino Sports and Rich's article because it was really moving, and you went deep into depth on the mental health aspect in sports.
Thank you, Wiz. I appreciate that. You're a good writer yourself. You've been writing some great material, and boxing to knowledge is getting so much better with it. This guy, Jake Paul, I really don't care, but I had to mention it. The Saturday night, he was supposed to be in Madison Square Garden against Raheem Jr., heavyweight title fight, and it became a mess because Raheem didn't meet the required weight that they agreed to, 200 pounds. As a result, Paul went off on his Instagram and everything else, and the fight is off. The card is off. Ronda Serrano is the one that really gets kicked here because she's not fighting. The whole card was canceled. It was a Showtime pay-per-view. You know, Paul does great numbers on pay-per-view, being that he's a celebrity YouTube phenom, and everybody wants to fight him. Rahman came through this after Tommy Fury bailed out on him because he couldn't get into the country. And Rahman pulled an issue about the weight. Disgusting. It was a pay-per-view that was anticipated. I don't care for Paul. I don't think he's a legitimate fighter. I'm not missing much, but that card is off. But they say Paul is going to get someone else and fight by the end of the year, and the Garden would be interested if it's available to doing it again. But, you know, when you put a promotion together, you hype it up, and all of a sudden it gets totally canceled because of an issue like this. That doesn't help. The Garden's not happy. Paul's not happy. People lose money. People have to get refunded. They were going to sell that out, Wiz.
Yeah, people were definitely going, and I knew a bunch of people going, and for them to cancel it just like that, 2-3 weeks before, it's going to be hard. It's going to be very difficult for them to find a night in November. December.
What does our buddy Pearson say there?
He says, Pearson says a YouTuber being allowed to fight top fighters is disgusting.
He's exactly right. You know, that's Richard Pearson, who I do the broadcast with, and he's becoming a big follower of the show. He's right. I don't think Paul is a legitimate fighter. Let him fight a legitimate fighter, and fighters want to fight him now because he makes money. That's the one thing about Jake Paul. He makes money for people. And so they want to fight him. So right now that's off. This guy, Virgil Ortiz Jr., this Saturday on Zone, Golden Boy 147 undefeated, a future of the welterweight division. Michael McKinson is his opponent that Saturday night, boxing on the Zone. Look at Virgil Ortiz on the Zone if you can. 147, he wins this fight. He deserves title shot. So we'll see where that goes. All right. Let's get to the keeping in the ring part of the pro wrestling and a lot of that. Let's bring in John. Wiz, interject when you want.
Will do.
John, the host of Around the Ropes. Oh, I got it right 2 weeks in a row. Here on the SLG network. And a lot of wrestling, John. I know you talked about it on your program before we came on. I want to go over SummerSlam. I know the Wiz got into it. In fact, Saturday night, Danny Garcia, the Wiz, watching that. The Wiz is watching UFC. The Wiz is watching. What else were you doing?
I was watching
3 things at once.
SummerSlam, UFC, and the boxing, and then I had Anthony Johnson on my phone.
Yeah, because he anchored sports, right?
Yep,
that's what it was. Yeah, I know we had to watch Anthony. He's our buddy. But we saw this Brock Lesnar and the match with Roman Reigns, the match that ended their rivalry. And I've never seen anything like this in all my years as a fan and working in the industry in pro wrestling, the ring, Brock Lesnar had what was that?
A tractor.
Tractor, and he toppled the ring over. That's him at the end. There was a complaint, I understand, John, from a lot of fans there in Tennessee at the outdoor stadium. WWE does outdoor events now on the weekends on the Peacock and their other network, their network, that they couldn't see the other side of what was going on because that ring toppled over like that, and they were obstructed from seeing the action going on the other side, John. But I've never seen anything like that. Your thoughts?
I thought it was phenomenal. We were saying we were watching live Saturday at the Hooters where we were at, and we all said in the room, we said it was the best match the two of them have had in their almost 10-year history together since this feud started all the way back at WrestleMania 31.
Do you agree with me if Vince McMahon was still around that wouldn't have happened?
Oh, absolutely. There was so much stuff that happened on Saturday night at SummerSlam that had Vince still been in power would never have happened.
I like the fact that now that feud's over. So where does Lesnar go from here? McIntyre at Clash at the Castle or in England next month on Labor Day weekend?
Well, they announced McIntyre is actually going up against Roman for the titles.
Right. And Lesnar now, his latest run with WWE is over right now.
Yeah.
But I believe he will come back. I still think that it's going to be Reigns and The Rock. I don't know if it'll be for the title at WrestleMania next April in Los Angeles. Does Reigns lose this title before next WrestleMania now that Lesnar is out of the picture? Or does McIntyre get it?
I think they're going to keep it on Reigns till next year's Mania because they're setting up for Reigns and his cousin, The Rock. That's what they're gunning for. That's what it's been talked about for the longest time now. I mean, would it be nice to have McIntyre take the belts off of him in England? Yeah, but do I see it happening? Probably not.
All right, so overall, SummerSlam to me, if you scale 1 to 10, I got to give it a 9. There was something in there I didn't like. I don't remember, but you saw Edge return, the Mysterios against the faction known as what are they called again?
Judgment Day.
And I took Ronda Rousey. She got hurt legitimately. She's hurt, but I like the fact that Bianca Belair and now the man Becky. They are now friends, and Becky's hurt, so she'll be out a while.
Yep, she's
which
out.
is another blow, another wrestler down. But these two, because Triple H is back, they didn't see him on Monday Night Raw last night. Sasha Banks and Naomi are back. So reportedly, they weren't on Monday Night Raw last night. But by the way, and I'm clipping them, channels going back and forth. Will show some excitement with pro wrestling. Will you? I mean, show some enthusiasm.
What do you want me to do? Jump up and down?
Yeah. It's pro wrestling, for Christ's sake. Keep it in the ring. Raw is much different. Triple H is in charge. You notice 1 hour commercial free, which is great on USA. And picture in picture. That was great, following the AEW thing. And now we might see Banks and Naomi back. What do you think of that?
I think it's a phenomenal thing. We were talking about it on our show before. They came out with the rating from Monday Night Raw, and it actually got a 2.2.
That's better than what they've been doing. Yeah, I didn't see the ratings for Monday Night Raw this week. They did well.
Yeah.
Well, what's gonna happen is Triple H is changing the complexion of what's going on. And it's much better. That's what the fans want. And there'll be more interest geared towards Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. And you know, I still say AEW is going to overtake them in a few years. And we're going to get to AEW in a moment. Ric Flair's final match. Now let's take a look at Ric Flair's bloodied face. 74 years old with a pacemaker. I didn't see the match, John. Did you?
I didn't get a chance. It was so much wrestling going on this weekend. I didn't get a chance to watch it.
I mean, Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal did a number on him. Flair, though, I saw highlights slow, showing that 74 years old doesn't belong in there. They were lucky he didn't get hurt or something serious would have happened. The man's got a pacemaker in him. Bloodied mess.
Well, I don't
That's the
know if you
last of
heard,
Ric Flair, I hope. Yeah, no, I didn't.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
They said he had wanted to do a suicide dive in that match. And what the person who stopped him was his daughter, Charlotte Flair. Turned around and
Well,
said,
you know what? Yeah, well, good for her that she did that. And the Undertaker was there to see his last match. You have a photo of him and Foley watching it. There they were. And also, I think Bret Hart, too.
Bret Hart was
to
there.
give him a good send-off, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And you know, Pat, you know, I hope Ric Flair never does that again. Any other highlights of SummerSlam you want to discuss with us that we might have missed on your program?
No. The only thing I will say is Logan Paul had a match. I know you guys were talking about Jake Paul, but Logan Paul.
Yeah, he looked good.
I said on our show.
Logan's a pro wrestler. He's got a multi-deal contract with them, and he put on a show against The Miz. So did Pat McAfee against against Corbin, his former teammate of the Indianapolis Colts, and a stadium they knew well. McAfee, though, had trouble standing on the top rope. He gave that explanation on his show yesterday. The humidity, the heat, and he almost took a big fall standing on the ropes. He couldn't do what he wanted to do, but he got by. And McAfee's become quite an entertainer in the ring.
He's becoming the new Shane McMahon, unfortunately.
Could the Wiz become the new Shane McMahon?
No, he's the next Austin Theory.
He does have Austin Theory's look. He don't have the nose, but he's got the look.
With McAfee right after his match, he downed a fan's beer. I caught that. That was awesome.
You know, Wiz, next time I see you in a couple of days, I'm gonna do a Pat McAfee on you below the belt. Okay, to get you more keeping in the ring. All right, and then AEW, Bryan Danielson is back in the ring. Didn't look like himself on Dynamite last Wednesday, John.
No, he took on Daniel Garcia and continuing the whole Jericho Appreciation Society versus the Blackpool Combat Club. And I was kind of surprised they had Garcia go over, but I'm not shocked because they're making the Appreciation Society a big factor in AEW. And Blackpool Combat Club is going to, in my opinion, is going to start being both AEW and Ring of Honor once they really get Ring of Honor going.
What's the highlight match on Dynamite tomorrow on TBS?
They really didn't announce a big one. The big thing they announced is the Undisputed Elite is back in Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole. That's the.
Do you think they're really hurting? Do you think they're hurting without MJF there?
Yes, to the point because they don't have that top heel. They don't have that go-getter like with MJF. I know Christian's sort of becoming that heel, but to me, he's not. He's doing a good job at it. Don't get me wrong, but people I don't think know how to handle him.
No. And go back WWE real quick. Edge. Kids can't go back from being a good guy to bad guy in such a short time span. Do you agree?
Oh, I I completely agree. I think his whole thing with Judgment Day was a failed experiment, I guess you can call it. And him back at the position he was in is going to be good because he's better at being Edge is one of those weird wrestlers. He's good
better
at being both. Better as a heel, but his heel work when he was doing the Judgment Day stuff was very wonky.
So now I think what they're going to do is team him up with his wife again. Mm-hmm. I think you're going to see him in what's his wife, Beth Phoenix again against Judgment Day with because what's her name is I love her.
Really?
Yeah, I love her. I want to go out with her. I want to buy her. I want to have a drink. I want to have some. Look, I'm getting all flushed. I want to have a. I want a glass of red wine with her. I like her. She can invite me in her room anytime. All right. All right. Now, Wiz, UFC, you talked about it. What happened? I had no idea there was a major UFC show on. So busy this weekend, but you kept on top of it. Tell us about what happened with this Amanda Nunes. What's about that?
Yeah, we had a sequel, Amanda Nunes versus Julia Pena at American Airlines Center. Nunes won by an unanimous decision. Nunes reclaimed her women's bantamweight title, and the one she lost to Pena at UFC 269, and she became the only fighter in UFC history to defeat the bantamweight, anyone with the bantamweight belt and anyone with the featherweight belt. So she's just making history every fight.
You know what? My buddy Richard Pearson will say that we're going to have him on the show. He said the same thing. And it'll never happen. It didn't happen when Mayweather and Conor McGregor. A UFC fighter will never beat a pro fighter. Never. And you know, I don't care if Dana White doesn't like me or not because I've written about it. But to me, I can never get into UFC. I'm sorry. I'll watch it and lose interest.
Richard Pearson commented, Mancuso, stop calling her out. I do not want you to stop wrestling her husband trying to take a suicide dive like Rick.
Rich, I, you know what, Rich? We'll talk about it this week when I see you. All right. Thank you.
He's active in the comments. We appreciate it.
I appreciate it a lot. And we'll have Rich on the show, like I said, soon. And you'll get to meet the real Richard Pearson and his knowledge. It's unbelievable. He's never been to a baseball game. He told me that today. I'm going to take him soon to it. I'm going to take him.
We'll get him there.
I'm going to take him. He kept me calm over the weekend. He really did. No one keeps me calm. You do, okay? But very few. He does. He knows how to calm me down. All right. John, thanks for the keeping in the ring. We're going to take another break and go into the second hour. And, of course, I got the fact of the week. Nobody beat the Wiz coming up and a lot more baseball to talk. So, John, let's take a break as we move into hour number 2. Sports with Rich, live on the SLG Network. Tuesday nights live, always 10 p.m. Me, the Wiz, Robert Rizzo, and there's our great producer, John, in the background. Back after this. Comments in the cube. Like, comment, subscribe on YouTube, my channel, Rich Mancuso, and, of course, on the SLG Network. We'll take a break. Not like I couldn't get a break during the fights the other night. 10 straight fights. I couldn't stop. I couldn't go to the bathroom. Couldn't get up. Couldn't get around. It was ridiculous. John, you had to see this. You were there. You saw. We saw. 3-4 hours of nonstop broadcasting. I didn't get up.
I'll say this much. You guys are talking about the Abella thing. I just want to bring it up quickly. Our fight of the night was the fight that Ali had.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that because – the Nunes, 39 years old. Ali, 30 years old. Both of them made their pro debut, 4 rounds, and they gave the fans a show. I love broadcasting that fight. Just a great card overall, and I thank everyone there again. Keeping in the Ring is over for the week. As I said, like, comment, and subscribe. John, take over. Update if you want, or go to a break. We'll be back after this.
Thanks, guys. Here's a quick sports update. The Mets lost tonight by a score of 5-1 to the Washington Nationals. The Rockies and Padres are tied 2-2. They're in the bottom of the third. The Orioles are currently defeating the Rangers by a score of 8-1. They're in the top of the ninth. The Rangers are currently defeating the Astros by a score of 2-1. They're in the bottom of the ninth. The Angels are defeating the Athletics by a score of 3-1. They're in the top of the fifth. There's a close game going on right now out in San Fran as the Dodgers are currently defeating the Giants by a score of 6-5. They're wrapping up the fourth inning right now. These games have gone final. The Padres over the Rockies by a score of 13-5. The Reds over the Marlins 2-1. The Mariners over the New York Yankees by the score of 8-6. The Pirates over the Brewers by a score of 5-3. The Diamondbacks over the Guardians 6-3. The Blue Jays over the Rays 3-1. The Braves all over the Phillies tonight by a score of 13-1. The Tigers over the Twins by the score of 5-3. The Cardinals over the Cubs 6-0. And the White Sox defeated the Royals today by a score of 9-2. That was your sports update. We'll be right back right after a quick word from our sponsor of What's Poppin' Corn Sex. And the guys will be back to talk more baseball right here on Sports with Rich on the SLG Network.
Doing bad, they gon' love you. Doing good, they gon' hate you. Look down on your come up, but to the hustle, stay faithful. Big goals by the rate full. Drip everywhere, that's wasteful. Accent color, that's tasteful. We front and center at the tape. Got 3-5 in my blunt. 4 extra mud in my cup. Yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. I was out of luck. Yeah, now my money up. Yeah, they feeling that. They feeling it. They feeling it. Show her in the truck. Then throw it in the guts. Yeah, she feeling that. She feeling that. She feeling that. Niggas talking tough. Yeah, till we pulling up. Now he feeling that. He feeling that. He feeling that. Save me a gold casket. My life been tragic. Good gas and blunts pass. Blow out a nigga head gaskets. Fuck boys, don't need them. Yo, bitch crazy, better keep her. Yo, niggas high when it's time to ride, but I bet that bitch start squeezing. Smoke sessions in the evening. Private chef and we eat it. It's a long way from voyeur to 4 years in Lamborghinis. Move different, can't see me. Only pictures ain't on TV. Tribe meetings and vibe readings. These space race like E.T. We have roaches in the kitchen. Now it's rooms in the villa. Took the cards I was dealt, flipped them. I'm the one who do the dealing. Did so much of my own, baby, I don't give a fuck about feelings. Everybody got a lot to say, but ain't nobody came with it. Fuck it, I spin it. Had it, I lent it. Trusted some niggas, now I regret it. I can forgive it, never forget it. Niggas still out there, I ain't gon' get it. Yeah, this is it, I can't slow up. Niggas muddy from the pole up. Big sauce like a cold cut. You either hoe up or you gon' blow up. Got 3-5 in my blunt. 4 extra mud in my cup. Yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. I was out of luck. Yeah, now my money up. Yeah, they feeling it. They feeling it. They feeling it. Show her in the truck. Then throw it in the guts. Yeah, she feeling it. She feeling it. She feeling it. Niggas talking tough. Yeah, till we pulling up. Now he feeling it. He feeling it. He feeling it. Where the ghost mean power. You a star, Omari Hardwick. Seen a lot of hardships. We was taking long trips. Talking through the glass. Gotta medicate with strong hits of ganja. Gotta watch how people move around you. My brother got sittings cause of snitch. Niggas dying over bitches. Niggas lie like it's religion. If you been down, you feel me. Gotta keep applying pressure. Double up, that boy can stretch it. Good credit or no credit, they need it, go get it. Lil' baby, this is me. What you get is what you see. And you best believe we war red. Got 3-5 in my blunt. 4 extra mud in my cup. Yeah, I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. I'm feeling that. I was out of luck. Yeah, now my money up. Yeah, they feeling it. They feeling it. They feeling it. Show her in the truck. Then throw it in the guts. Yeah, she feeling it. She feeling it. She feeling it. Niggas talking tough. Yeah, till we pulling up. Now he feeling it. He feeling it. He feeling it.
Lock the door and keep your eyes shut. The lights flicker, there's evil all around us. No one's safe from the nightmare. Cold sweat, so scared. Someone get me out of here. They say you better be afraid. The night's coming like fire from a hand grenade. There's no escaping tonight. It's coming alive.
Oh, we're here. You know that the show opening just gets me so wound up. I don't know what it does, and it invigorates me. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Is it your face that does it, or is it that open? I mean, I can't stop. And when we go to break, and that show opening is dynamite. I got to tell the production crew at SLG again, who I met for the first time over the weekend, a Friday night at the American Dream for the Abella Boxing Promotion show. A great bunch of guys. And, you know, I that show opening is done. I don't know about you. I love it.
Yeah, it's like a 5-hour energy to me. Sponsor song and the opening. Back to
and
back.
we got more sponsors, and I want that popcorn. I want that popcorn, John. That'll do it. You know, I mean, we're going to get more sponsors as we move along here on the show in the next few weeks. We're working on it. We're going to get them. Of course, we want you to like, comment, and subscribe on the YouTube SLG channel and on my channel on YouTube. Subscribe, like, comment. I'm at Rich Mancuso on YouTube. I'm at Ring786 on Facebook. I'm also Rich Mancuso, Facebook, and Ring786 on Twitter, Instagram, Mancuso786, LatinoSports.com, NewYorkSportsDay.com, a couple of the websites that I write for, and The Wiz. How do they reach you again?
Follow me on Twitter, RobertRiz994, Instagram, RRizzo4, Facebook, Robert Rizzo, and always catch my articles on Latino Sports.
And please read his articles. What I'm going to tell you, he's a fantastic young writer with a big future in this business, and he is the future in this business. What he does,
Thank you.
He can write. He can do PR work, publicity work very well. Got a great personality. I'm not just saying it to kiss his ass because I know him well and all that. And he's also a good broadcaster. So got a great future. All right. Good first hour of the program. No guests tonight. We're only being seen live on YouTube. We'll be back on our other social media platforms next week. Thank you for joining us. Please comment in the cube. It's open. We've had quite a few comments tonight. We're going to continue the baseball talk because this was MLB Trade Day, a major day in baseball. It was, to me, the most exciting, busiest trade deadline for MLB. And again, what did I say? How many trades were made today in the opening, Wiz? I said let me, because I'm an old man, I forget fast. But it was like, one trade after another. If you didn't refresh your Twitter feed, and those guys won the same ones, one after another, crediting this one, I know I did that a few years ago. I won't do it again because I'm not on the beat as much as they are. Because I remember 2015, Yoenis Cespedes, the Mets standing out and pulled the big one to trade at the deadline that everyone talked about. Cespedes became a New York Met again, and I had it. And they were giving me credit for it. Some of them did, not all of them. Take it as it is. But today was that type of day where trades continued to come in one after another. 41 trades the last 2 days, as I said, 25 of them today. The big one is, again, the San Diego Padres with Juan Soto, Josh Bell, giving up a lot of their prospects, including their number one guy. His name eludes me at the moment. Top prospect in the game, they say. All right. So we're going to go to guys now that didn't get traded that were talked about, including this guy, Ohtani of the Angels. It said Syndergaard got traded by the Angels to the Phillies. I don't even know why there was talk of Ohtani being on the trade market. I don't get it.
Yeah, I didn't understand it at first. I feel like it was just a smokescreen, honestly. If he was going to get dealt, it was going to be during the offseason or next deadline because he's a free agent next offseason. So why would the Angels sell this early unless they know they're going to be terrible next year? And I think they're going to go for it all next year, his last year being a free agent. They're going to have to spend this offseason. So I think they made the smart move in keeping Ohtani, keeping him happy. Because at the end of the day, you lose Ohtani, Trout's battling with that back injury. Their future ain't looking so good.
They had a very disappointing year. Their manager got fired. This team was supposed to be winning the division or fighting the Astros in the AL West. Not happening. And so I didn't see Ohtani going nowhere. It made no sense. Trout is going to be injury prone the rest of his career. That came out during the week with the back issue, whatever it is. Rendon, injury prone for that team. They needed help, and they really didn't get much. So, they're going to be in a rebuild mode, I think, during the offseason. This guy, whilst he pitched tomorrow, was the first big name off the market. So here's a guy who was expected to be traded, but I didn't expect Luis Castillo to end up with the Mariners.
Yeah, I was totally shocked by that. I honestly thought he was going to land with the Yankees, but for Seattle to swoop in like that, that shows you and proves to you that they're all in for this season and to eliminate that 21, 22-year-old playoff drought. Honestly, the last time they've been in playoffs is what, 99?
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, and this is a team, right, they're young, and they do have pitching. We saw Gilbert tonight handle the Yankees pretty well, except for the home run ball a couple of times. Castillo's going to add to them, and they got him, obviously, because they're within the wild card. They're in the reach, and they want it, and they feel they can get it. I believe they can be a team that becomes one of those three. out of the American, there's 3 extra spots this year. So 6 teams get in. They could be one of them. Castillo helps their cause now.
Yeah, for sure. He helps the cause big time. And if they do make that wild card, it's a 5-game series. It's a 3-game series, that first round. So for him to be game 1, game 2 starter, that's big significance in the addition this past week for the Mariners.
Now, the Brewers pulled the fast one on us today. I mean, Josh Hader is gone. Now, Josh Hader, is now with the Padres. The Padres, again, came up winners with that as well because they got one of the elite closers in the game. But they also then they went out and they got a closer in return. Who did they get? I'm like I said, I can't keep track.
The Padres got Josh Hader, but they traded away prospects and Trevor Rogers. So they traded a closer. They traded a closer for a closer and gave up.
Now who's going to close? Williams is now going to be the closer for the Brewers, I assume, right?
Yeah, that's what I believe from what I saw.
Yeah.
And many Brewers players were not happy with that trade. I saw the interview.
I wouldn't be either. So I don't know what the Brewers were thinking there. I guess it was was he under salary control with the team, or I don't know, or was he up free agency? So much coming in today.
He was rumored throughout all of the offseason to be in talks too. So it's been limited going on for the last year now with Hader.
So, maybe Edward next to Diaz, he might be the best closer in the game. He's always been with the Brewers, who've been in the postseason, the last 5 years? Milwaukee?
Yeah, and they can never get over that hump. It seems like they're not willing to spend that money compared to the Dodgers, the Padres, the Yankees.
This guy, I wanted the Mets to get, and they didn't get him. I thought they would, and I don't know why the Orioles were even thinking of trading Trey Mancini. Oriole fans were not happy with this because they're within a wild card reach. I didn't think the Orioles would be selling any of their players, Riz.
No, I didn't think so either. It gave me vibes from last year with Seattle, how they were a young team making the progress to the postseason. I thought that would be Baltimore this year, but they decided to sell on a lot of their guys. They traded away their closer to Minnesota also, Lopez, and he's been phenomenal this season.
Yeah, that was going to talk to you that. He goes to the Twins for prospects,
yep.
Right? Orioles gave up prospects as well, which I would agree. He was a good 4 prospects in the Orioles organization. So I don't know where the Orioles are headed. They're in reach of a wild card. They turned it around a little bit, so I don't understand that move at all.
It's not a good sign to your fans because you guys are finally looking good, in the right path, and you sell off on your core because he was under team. The closer Lopez was under team control for more than 2 to 3 years, and to give him up like that, that's a tough decision.
There's a lot of talk about teams today that didn't do anything. And yet there are a lot of talk about the teams that did get what they needed. Again, the Padres are winners here. The Yankees improved. The Mets so-so, and they're expecting, as we said, Trevor May to come back. Jacob deGrom was their big winner, of course, like a trade because he came back tonight. Didn't get the win. The Mets lost because, of course, they scored no runs for him again, as always. I think the Reds did well. The Cincinnati Reds are not going to be in the postseason this year, but they're looking ahead. In the National League East, the Phillies, they are making a run. It's obvious. They traded and got Noah Syndergaard, who still, to me, has it. And again, as I mentioned in the first hour, you have Syndergaard now with Wheeler, who's been very consistent, teammates with the Mets in that 2015 World Series year where they went to the World Series. And Noah, those are 3 good guys out of the bullpen. And they got David Robertson back as their closer. Jerice Familia was DFA'd. The Phillies did well. They made themselves better. And I think they're going to make a run.
Yeah, I wouldn't sleep on Philly, especially in the second half. I believe it's not that tough of a schedule compared to the first half. They versed the West Coast already. And for them to be in the spot they're in right now, that's a really good sign because in June, we thought it was all over with them. They fired their manager, and then they ended up going on a 10-game, 11-game winning streak just like that. So for the Phillies to do this without Harper, that's the biggest telling sign that they'll be in a good spot come September, I believe.
Last year at this time or earlier, the trade deadline this year was moved up because of the collective bargaining agreement, the lockout, and so forth. And I think it's going to stay this way. The Braves were very active. They made moves. They got outfield. They got hitters. And they with the moves they made, including getting Soler Rosario, who's still on the team, Soler now with the Marlins down in Florida. They made their run. They overtook the Mets. They went on, became World Series champions. At the deadline this year, one big move they made a few, but the big one was getting Iglesias. Raisel Iglesias now is their closer. Will Smith is out the door, and they get Iglesias. So, again, the Braves did what they had to do. Their GM is very aggressive. I know him, Alex Anthopoulos. I know a lot of people in the Braves organization. I'm going to see them this weekend in New York when they play the Mets. First place going to be up for grabs. Great series coming up at Citi Field Thursday to Sunday, the doubleheader in between day and night on Saturday. The Braves improved as well. They got they made a couple of other moves. They got Iglesias. Let me see. They strengthened their bullpen. Good.
They acquired Jake Odorizzi too in the Will Smith.
Yeah, they got a starter, but Jake is not. To me, you can't rely on him. You're going to get a good day from him. You're going to get a bad day from him in the rotation. So I don't know how much he's going to improve the Braves' rotation on that end. Again, the Mets have a healthy Scherzer and a healthy DeGrom. They feel they can win it with them, and for the first time, the two of them are in the rotation this season at the same time. But the big move the Braves made had nothing to do with a trade. They gave this contract extension to Austin Riley. They're young third baseman, 10 years, $212 million. What'd you make of that move today by the Braves?
Yeah, I thought it was a great deal to lock your young core up along with Matt Olson, Ronald Acuna, even Ozzie Albies. The next guy up is Dansby Swanson. His free agency
Swanson
window.
is there.
Dansby Swanson. He's going to be a free agent this upcoming offseason.
And their starter, Max Fried. Those are the two that they want to lock up. The Braves are not going nowhere for a long time. The Mets know that.
Yeah, and Riley's only 25 years old, and this season he already has 29 homers. So he's just going to keep stepping it up along with that contract.
Was any other things that hit you on the trade day today? Because there's so much that went on. I mean, the Padres, again, deadline surprises. We know. I still think Montgomery was amazing, and it shocked him as well. And the Yankees, as they went out and got an outfielder, another one. We knew Soto was gone. We just didn't know. And there were talk about the Padres the last few days. But anything else that really stuck your mind besides the Josh Hader trade? And, it's I'm going through. I'm looking at what happened today. And J.D. Martinez didn't get traded, but the Red Sox kept him.
Yeah,
which makes me think that either he gets traded over in the off season or they keep him. You're looking at Wilson Contreras and Ian Happ still with the Cubs. Those were two names that were prominently mentioned for the deadline, that they were gone. And the Mets were looking at both of them, especially Contreras. The Cubs, again, wanted too much from the Mets, and that didn't work out. So they're still with the Cubs.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It was my biggest takeaway was how Chicago was so inactive on the trade deadline. The Cubs didn't trade away Contreras and Ian Happ. And the White Sox, they're in postseason contention right now. They didn't make a move.
No.
So for the Chicago fan bases, I'd be looking at them right now, and they're pretty ticked off.
No, I'm just going through some of the names because, like I said, you had to keep a scorecard today. It was very hard to do. And Aminu went back and forth all day with these moves, and it behooves me how many how the complexion of teams have changed and what guys didn't go and what guys did. I mean, just look, 47 prospects were moved before the deadline. What does that show you? What does that say?
Yeah, with the prospects getting moved overall, I think that's the biggest telling tale that teams are looking to get younger. Teams are looking to get cheaper on finances because all these contracts with these guys getting, 10 plus million. Meanwhile, there's a 22-year-old out there that could be making 10 million for 5 years. That's what a lot of teams are looking into right now. So I think it's a better spot for the game, honestly. The prospect layout and what the Nationals did today, because you knew they weren't signing Soto. They gave him $450 million. How much more could he have asked for to stay? So I think they got as people said on Twitter, I think they got the biggest haul possible.
Yeah. And this one came up late today. Whit Merrifield, the Royals, goes to the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays got a good outfielder. Merrifield says now that he's going to get vaccinated. He hasn't been vaccinated. Now he will. That's a big issue still up there in Toronto with the Blue Jays. But Merrifield from the Royals to the Blue Jays. Toronto's going to send a prospect, the number 16 prospect, Samuel Taylor. And we got breaking news that just came in. I see that. Riz, this is sad news. This is really sad news. It's come across. Why don't you tell everyone? This is really a downer right now. This got everyone caught off guard with the passing of a legend, a baseball broadcast legend. Riz, why don't you break the news?
Yeah, Los Angeles Dodgers just announced off Twitter that Vin Scully passed away, the legendary voice of the Dodgers and a treasure to the baseball world.
That is sad. I mean, that's a real downer right now. How old was he?
Well, he had to be in his 80s, honestly. Maybe early 90s.
It's just coming out. He was 94 years old. 67 season. He called 67 season. He called games. And I had the pleasure of meeting him more than once. He's a Bronx guy originally, went to Fordham University. A lot of Fordham University alum that are in the industry credit him a lot for being in the business, following him as a role model, and the voice of the Dodgers. This one hurts. I didn't know that he was in ill health. I don't know too many particulars about it. We'll find out. Everyone will by the morning. But this is sad news. This is 94 years of age. Vin Scully has passed away tonight. Our condolences to the Scully family and to the Dodger family, the Los Angeles Dodgers organization, all the fans and all the colleagues in the business that love this man. This was an icon, a legend. I grew up listening to him. I don't know how much you did, Riz. Dodger baseball was Vin Scully. Also, national broadcast on baseball with Vin Scully. Before everyone else got involved, and NBC had the games. Vin Scully would do the game of the week a lot, and was the play-by-play voice for the World Series for NBC. In fact, I will never forget 1986, the Mets World Championship. Vin Scully on the mic, NBC, televising Game 6. The ball got by Buckner. Mookie Wilson scored, and Vin Scully had the call on that. Bob Murphy let him rest in peace. They were good friends, Mets radio. Vin Scully on national TV with NBC. We'll never forget those iconic words. And, John, if you could pull up, if you can go in the annals before we go off the air in a half hour tonight and get some voice of Vin Scully making that call. Vin Scully saying, and you can still hear it like it was yesterday, before you were born, Riz, but I know you've heard it. Ball gets by Buckner. The ball, and it was that was like a great moment in sports and Mets baseball history but one of the great moments in the legendary, iconic career of the late Dodger broadcaster, Vin Scully. I'm sad. I'm really sad to hear this news. Really sad that this just came through.
Yeah, it saddens me. He connected to the youth audience so well on his broadcast, and that's what I miss most about him when he was on the broadcast during his career.
So we'll be writing about it in the next few days, like everyone else, and we'll talk more about it next week. We'll line up someone or two that knew him real well. I know colleagues in the business that knew him extremely well. I'm sure they'll be more than happy if we can get him to come on here and talk about it. Vince Scully passes away tonight at 94 years of age. That's sad. More sports with Rich coming up. We'll wrap up. We'll have NFL talk, some NBA, and much more. And still nobody beats the Wiz right after this. Back with us. Like, comment, and subscribe. SLG Network and YouTube. Back in a moment.
What's good, everybody? My name is Caleb from the Bayou City Boys over here on the SLG Network. Happy to announce that we are now working with Dano's Seasoning. So if you're anything like me, you meal prep all the time, Dano's is the way to go, man. They got multiple flavors. Hit them up. Be sure to use our code SLG Network. Appreciate every single one of y'all. Peace.
Spending money like it's nothing. I don't have a budget. Please don't get offended when you see the kids stunting. Got my queens with me, but it ain't no Scarborough bluffing. See, I'm riding solo while dependent bitches cuffing. I got all I need, me, myself, and I just love it. I've been gone.
Sports with Rich. SLG Network Live. Tuesday nights always. Me and the Wiz, Robert Rizzo. Like, comment, and subscribe on our channel, YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso, SLG Network. Your comments also in the cube. I can't get over Vince Scully. I didn't know. 94 years of age. He didn't look it. Again, we'll talk more about it next week, and we'll probably be writing about it. Again, condolences to all associated with the late Vince Scully. With all the baseball talk going on, the NFL training camps are underway. Hot and heavy preseason games will begin soon. I wish they wouldn't even have those. They're a waste of time. Someone can get injured. But they lessened it. They don't have as many with the new 17-game schedule. But I can't believe that about 6 weeks we'll be kicking off. And I always look forward to it.
I've been counting down the days. I can't wait.
Let's look at some news with Deshaun Watson, Cleveland Browns, the suspension. And you know what? What was it, 6 games, Wiz?
Yeah, he received 6-game suspension.
I thought that was good, sufficient enough based on all the charges against him. And 6 games, it will hurt the Browns at the beginning of the season, but that was the major news coming out of the NFL with Deshaun Watson. What did you think? Did you think 6 games was enough, or should he have had more?
I honestly thought he should have gotten more. It just came down to the evidence at hand with the court hearings and stuff like that. It's been going on for over a year now with all the information getting released. And honestly, with Watson and how many women got accused him of the certain charges, that's why it took so long. And for them to get this done right before training camps, the NFL had to, and it was a major bad PR hit. But with everything going on, I think it's just going to go by. And we're just 6 weeks away. And these signings and trades are going to take over the news cycle. And going for the Browns, he misses 6 games. They're at Panthers. They're versus the Jets, versus the Steelers, at Falcons, versus the Chargers, and versus the Pats. That's a very easy, doable schedule for the Browns with Jacoby Brissett, maybe another guy for backup quarterback. I think they can go 3-3, 2-4 without Watson, honestly.
Good. Those are good points, Wiz. Deebo Samuel, wide receiver to 49ers, 3 years, $73.5 million. Another big contract in the NFL.
Yeah, he proved his worth during January in the playoffs. He was playing everything for the Niners, wide receiver, running back, anything they needed him to do, along with George Kittle. Those 2 guys were the key to their success in the postseason. And for them to lock him up for the next 3 years, that's a big telling tale on where they're going against the Rams in the NFC West.
DK Metcalf, Seahawks, wide receiver, 3-year extension. Big move for the Seahawks with Russell Wilson now as they move on.
Yeah, that's a big move for the Seahawks. That's their franchise guy now because they moved on from Russell Wilson, as you said. This guy's only 24 years old. He does it all on offense, out of Ole Miss. I believe he was a late first-round pick, second-round pick at best. So for him to prove his worth, in the first 2 to 3 years of his career at that age, he's just going to get better from here, I think. And for him to be developing next to a new quarterback that's still learning the game, I think it's a good way for him to grow his game overall.
About DeAndre Hopkins, he said it. He no longer has to do his homework with the Arizona Cardinals. Oh, no. I'm talking about Kyle Murray. I'm confusing him. DeAndre Hopkins of the Cardinals said the 6-game suspension, it's sad, he said, because the PEDs they got that caused the suspension, he said, it's sad because I only saw a trace amount of it in his system. I don't care. Trace amount or what amount? You violated drug and illegal whatever, PED policies, suspension. And so he's saying a 6-game suspension was too harsh because he only took a minimal amount of whatever they found him with. I don't know. You go figure that out. And then the Miami Dolphins in this discipline on the Dolphins today. They're next year's round pick, among other measures. They tampered violations. Commissioner Roger Goodell presented scope and severity. What were they tampering with? They were trying to get. What were they trying to get? They were trying.
It was on 2 separate occasions that they were tampering with Tom Brady. One time when he was with the New England Patriots, and the other time was when he was with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
So they lose a pick. They lose a draft pick.
Yeah. A 1st-round pick and a 3rd-round pick, I believe.
And does the owner get suspended as well?
Yeah, the owner gets suspended until mid-October, I believe.
Yeah. These are unprecedented violations, as they said, the NFL. And, boy, it was suspension week in the NFL, wasn't it?
Yeah, and what I wanted to bring...
I have to commend the commissioner for that. Roger Goodell always gets attacked, but I think that's a good move that, hey, you're violating policies, you're violating rules, you got to get suspended. It's like any other job. You violate, you get suspended,
Yeah, for sure, especially with DeAndre Hopkins, the PEDs, Calvin Ridley a few months back with the gambling. That's another major issue that can't happen in the NFL. And there's so many that goes down the line. And I was going to say another thing is with Watson and the Dolphins issue today. The NFL announced that right after the Soto deal. For all you sport fans watching that out there, they announced it right after that. So what the news
all the MLB trade talk and all the movement today took away from all the negative stuff maybe that happened in the NFL. But, more next week, we're going to start picking it up with the NFL talk because training camps are on the way. But we go now, what we do every week, real quick tonight, but we'll do it and we'll get it. We don't have a guest tonight, so we're moving. And not that we're going to have guests back on next week. We're going to be back on all our social media platforms. You know what it is, what time of week it is right now? You know what it is.
You got
Nobody beats the Wiz. And here we go. And yes or no? I asked the Wiz a question. We still don't have any little music, John. I wanted something to introduce this. Someone has an idea watching that can give us a little tune to greet Nobody Beats the Wiz. Here it is. I give the Wiz a question. Robert Rizzo, real quick respond, yes or no. Opinion on both. Here we go, Wiz. You ready? Yes or no? All right, the Major League Trade Deadline today, right? After the deadline, the Yankees, Astros, Dodgers, Padres, Mets, and Braves. They look like teams that are still going to be viable. Of course, we know Yankees, Astros will be, Dodgers will be, Padres, Mets, Braves. Do you agree with me? In the National League and American League, those are still and will be the teams to beat, yes or no?
Yeah, I agree. All those teams you listed. Those are going to be the teams, especially in the American League, Yankees, Astros. But the National League, there could be 5 teams going down the line that have a good chance.
They're no doubt the better league. We say that every week. They're the better league. There's no doubt about it. All right, nobody beats the Wiz. Riz, yes or no? The Juan Soto trade happened. The Padres re-signed him to 2024, $400 million when the contract comes up. Do you think the Padres will keep him and give him that money? Yes or no? The Nationals wouldn't do it.
No, I don't think the Padres are able to sustain Soto and that free agent sweepstakes 2 years from now. He's a Scott Boras client, and you know how that goes. It's going to be an all-out bidding war, and he's only 23 years old. At that time, he's going to be 25 years old, and Padres fans are hoping at that time he's going to have a World Series ring under his belt, another one, honestly. So two guys going to be 25 years old, and they're hoping for 2 World Series rings by then.
You don't think the Padres will keep him beyond that for that money?
I
think they will.
I don't think so, just because Tatis with that contract, the Machado contract.
That's true, but between now and then, things could change. Money, salary caps, luxury tax. Steve Cohen of the Mets doesn't care. Maybe he'll end up getting them. Soto might end up being a Met in a few years. Young enough, good enough, we'll see. All right, Wiz, yes or no? Baseball next year, we're jumping ahead. They're talking about next year, a pitch clock, a shift, no more shift. Pitch clock instituted, and possibly 2 years from now, a robot umpire at home plate. Yes or no? Do you like all of that?
No, I'm not a fan of certain things, especially the robot umpire. Dale Scott gave us great feedback on that stuff. We went into detail with him. It eliminates the human aspect of the game, like the human error part, and umpires make impacts on the game that fans, as much as you guys boo them, it has to stay, and I think it should. With the shifts, it's a totally different story. I'm a fan of them eliminating the shifts. I think it would be way more entertaining for the fans.
Okay, so yes or no on both, right?
Yeah. So yes, yeah. I'm hearing that.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Nobody beats the Wiz. Here we go. Yes or no with Robert Rizzo. We talk about Roger Goodell just now, NFL commissioner. I commend him. Suspensions, violations, got to be done. Now you look at all the other commissioners. Who's the best commissioner among the major sports leagues here in North America? Is it Rob Manfred, baseball, MLB? Is it Gary Bettman and National Hockey League, NHL? Is it that Roger Goodell, NFL, National Football League? Or, as I call him, the Martian, Adam Silver of the NBA? Yes or no? Who is the best commissioner in sports? Yes or no? Give me a yes or no on either of them. What do you think?
I'm going to go with your last point with the Martian. I think he's the best commissioner right now in sports.
I hope he's not watching, because we'll never get any support for the NBA after that. But let's face it, he looks like an alien.
Yeah, but honestly, I think he's the best commissioner. He's very player friendly when it comes to certain young developing leagues. The G League has grown every year since he's been a part of it, and with obviously a lot of teams don't like the trades going on. The owners don't like it. But it grows the league worldwide. There's more people tuning in on Twitter during the off season than ever.
Okay. I don't know what you got a yes or no on that. Finally, nobody beats the Wiz. Yes or no? Here we go. All right. We spent 2 days together. We practically see each other a lot now, but we spent 2 consecutive days and nights together this past week. So, now the question, yes or no, nobody beats the Wiz, Robert Rizzo, the Wiz here. Would you rather, you spend 2 days with Rich Mancuso? If you were to spend 2 days with Rich Mancuso, 2 days like that, 2 nights, or with who else?
There's I could say many women out there, but I'm not going to name the women. But no, I had a great time.
So you'd rather spend 2 days, 2 nights with someone else?
It's a tough question.
After all I do for you, young man. After all I do for you, you'd rather spend 2 days, 2 nights with someone else than me?
I don't know what to say. You call me off guard.
John, I got to reassess this contract with him for next week. I think we may have to do some talking after the show. Well, on that note, nobody beats the Wiz. It's over for the week. Yes or no? Put up the lion again. There he is. Where is it, John? Show yes or no. Nobody beats the Wiz because that's him, the lion. Would rather spend 2 days or nights with someone else rather than me. I know. I realize you're not the only one, my friend. A lot of people feel that way about me.
You call me
We'll put it up on the
that.
show after this. John's going to have a quick, brief sports update to wrap it, and then we'll come back and wrap it all up. Sports with Rich, SLG Network, YouTube Live. We'll be back at you right after this.
Thanks, guys. Basically, it's the same thing like before. Mets lost today to the Nationals by the score of 5-1. The Yankees lost today by the score of 8-6 to Seattle. If you did not hear, there is some breaking news. There is some news that did drop about a half hour ago or so. The baseball world did lose legendary broadcaster Vince Scully. He was the announcer not only for the Los Angeles Dodgers, but also the announcer for the Brooklyn Dodgers. As we have that quick going around the league here, the Rockies are tied 2-2. Angels are up 3-1. Like I said before, the Giants and the Dodgers are having an offensive showdown right now. It's 6-5 Dodgers right now. Bases are loaded, bottom of the sixth. So if you love offense, that's definitely a game I would check out if I were you. Everything else went fine already. The Padres won. The Reds won. Obviously mentioned the Mariners won. The Pirates won. The Diamondbacks won. Blue Jays won. Braves won. Tigers won. Cardinals won. Orioles won. Red Sox won. And the White Sox won again. We'll be right back right after this to wrap things. The guys will be back right after this quick commercial break to wrap things up. You're listening to the Sports with Rich right here in the SLG Network. We'll be right back right after this.
Spending money like it's nothing. I don't have a budget. Please don't get offended when you see the kids stunting. Got my queens with me, but it ain't no Scarborough bluffing. See, I'm riding solo while dependent bitches cuffing. I got all I need, me, myself, and I just love it. I've been gone, riches stacking to the ceiling. I'm dick long. Could never change the side I've been on. In 100 years, I'ma still be with my day ones. When it's said and done, fuck where I'm going, it's all about where I came from. You don't know.
I thought that he left because and people are thinking, you know what? Maybe he got fired right now because he won't spend he'd rather spend 2 straight nights and days with someone else rather than me, Rich Mancuso. So Rizzo comes up late. The Wiz comes on late.
You just gave me the boot from the studio, just like that.
You know what, my friend? The true colors are coming out.
That's it. I'm telling you, that last question.
But after all I do for you, you got the nerve to think that someone else? You'd rather spend 2 nights and days with someone else than me? I mean, I might be an old man. I might be grouchy. I get my moods, but that's part of getting old. And one day you're going to mentor a younger guy. And one day the same thing's going to happen to you. Then you're going to look up and say, you know what, old man? You were right. I won't forget this. Let's move on. Wrap up the show, Wiz. John, I'm going to bring you in before we say goodbye. Come on in real quick again. I got to ask you a question.
Yes, what's up?
Producer at the SLG Network. Do you agree with me? Do you think, would you spend 2 straight nights and days with me or with someone else?
Great, Rich. You're putting me on the spot now. Thanks.
You too?
Telling you.
Maybe screwed come next week.
I know. I'm going to get the boot. I thought I already got kicked out during the commercial.
I can't boot John because he runs the show. So I can't do that. John, by the way, nice haircut.
Thank you.
I thought I was the only one. I thought I was the only one with the little hair on the head.
How'd that come about, John?
I'll tell the quick story. Over the weekend, obviously, I met Rob and Rich at the Abella Boxing thing, and then I made a bet with one of my co-hosts, Carl. to take the one chip challenge. If you don't know what the one chip challenge is, basically it's a tortilla chip coated in Carolina Reaper pepper and Scorpion Death pepper.
Oh, these guys are hazers. They like to haze.
And basically, I lost. So yeah.
I don't want to spend 2 nights and straight days and nights with you and that crew. If you do that, I'm not doing that.
Yeah, it's an interesting.
Maybe the Riz would do that, but not me. Anyway, John, I gotta go. You know we're running on time because we're doing only 2 hours and we got 5 minutes left. John, thanks again for all your help, my friend. Nice haircut, though. I gotta say that.
Thank you.
Next week, please. 2 things we need. I want some music with the updates or some more Again, I keep telling you that every week.
I know.
And also, what I want is a little something to go with Nobody Beats the Wiz, so he doesn't have to laugh like that. You know,
I love to laugh.
Why? I don't.
Baseball season, boxing going on.
No, I want rain, and I want rain and cold weather. I can't take this no more.
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
Yeah, all right. Thank you, John. Till next week, my friend. Great job.
Thank you. All right, I'll go back to.
You better go back. Yeah. Okay. All right. Wiz, let's wrap it up. NYCFC 0-0 draw with Montreal without Valentin Castellanos. Last weekend, just past weekend, it's showing without Castellanos, the top scorer they had. Golden Boot Award winner. He's now overseas, no longer with them. They've got to try something to do something different and get someone to pick up the offense.
Yeah, definitely. This has got to be a growing window before the playoffs for them because without Castellanos, there's no way they're going to get through these top-tier teams like the Red Bulls, the Philadelphia Union, who they matched up with in the conference finals last year. They're gonna. There's a lot of moving parts, and we talked about it last week with the MLS, how they move players into different leagues mid-season. There has to be a drastic rule change with that kind of stuff because it just ruins the overall appreciation and entertainment aspect of the game.
Yeah, we've said that. We've talked about it. It definitely is a detriment to the league when guys like that, you lose a top scorer in the league, not only for their fan base, but it's just not fair. But they're going to work that out. They definitely have to. I'm just trying to pull up their schedule right now because I don't have it in front of me. Saturday they play. They've got Columbus, and I think this is a Red Bull Arena because again they play in 3 different spots, and then they don't come back to the Bronx and Yankee Stadium till next month, middle of the month. Most of the rest of their games are Citi Field, Red Bull Arena, or on the road. That's another issue. They have another issue finding a venue, and I hope they do.
Very difficult for the fans. And
you saw this note. The immaculate innings again with the Orioles. Rick, you saw this what Rick Detmers did, another immaculate inning against the Angels. With the Angels, Rick Detmers of the Angels. Second inning against the Rangers. This couple of nights ago, the first rookie and third pitcher to throw an immaculate he's the first rookie pitcher, the third pitcher in Major League Baseball history to throw an immaculate inning, which you know what immaculate inning is, right? 3 outs, 1, 2, 3 strike, 1, 2, 3 strike, 1, 2, 3 strike. That happened twice this year in baseball. And he's the first rookie to do that with also throwing a no-hitter in the same year. In the same season. One other person has done that in Major League Baseball history, 2 others, one being the great Hall of Famer Sandy Koufax. So I thought I'd throw that in to wrap it up tonight. That's a
good one because I think
it wasn't the fact of the week either. I could have made that the fact of the week.
That's a good one and an interesting one because you add on to the fact that the Orioles went through immaculate inning on Nestor Cortez back in May. So it's just weird how baseball.
Two of them this year. But I could use that. And, we talked about the Dodgers again in that segment was the Andy Koufax. The late Vince Scully night tonight. How many times did he broadcast Sandy Koufax's great games, Hall of Fame career? More on Sandy Koufax next week. We lost a broadcast legend, just heard about an hour ago. Sad news, 94 years of age. All right, I got to bring John in one more time because I got to get the answer to the fact of the week. John, come on in again.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry about it. Thought I said goodnight to you, but you're still here. All right, fact of the week. I guess you didn't get it. No one did. No one got it in the cube. Oh,
Nah.
the Aaron Judge bobblehead's still here. All right, trade deadline. We've been talking about it all night, last 2 hours. Player to be traded. And also, he was a player that was traded, but was also traded for himself because he was that player to be named later. So I need to know who the guy was. This is a fact. I could tell you the year, 1962. All right? He was a catcher. This only happened once in Major League Baseball history. You understand the question of the fact, right?
Yeah, I understand the question.
Yeah, I understand the question. All right.
I'm honestly thinking of catchers back in that day.
You both won't get it. I'm running out of time. We got to go. Want me to give you the answer to the fact of the week? Till next week when we have an Aaron Judge bobblehead still to give away? A couple of people messaged me during the week and said, your fact of the weeks are whacked.
We haven't got
Facts
any.
of the week. Facts of the week are as whacked as Robert Rizzo. Not wanting to spend 2 straight nights. He'd rather spend 2 straight nights and days with someone else than me. Yeah, I haven't got any what?
No comment.
Yeah, no comment. The answer, 1962, was a catcher, Harry Sheedy. Not a well-known player. From the Indians, and he went to the Mets. To the Mets to be the player to be named later. But the first player traded for himself as a player to be named later. I thought that was a good fact of the week because of the trade deadline today. Both of you look like, what's he going to do next week?
No.
Good night, John. Night, John. Good talking to you. See you next week, John.
Yep, see you guys next week.
Oh, God, that was abrupt. Riz,
Honestly,
good show. Huh?
Thank you. Great show. Honestly, I had no idea on that fact of the week. Sometimes I'm in the decade of the players, but this one I had no common knowledge on.
And it had nothing to do with my new glasses, transition glasses that turn dark in the sun, and then when you go indoors, they turn regular again.
There we go.
Had nothing to do with you not wanting to spend 2 consecutive nights and days with me, that you'd rather do it with someone else than me, and I'm not going to forget that. It's going to labor all night and into the week with you, my friend. Okay, I'll remember that. All right. Anything else before we say goodbye till next week?
I'm already energetic and looking forward for Friday night. Braves Mets at Citi Field, big series. That's going to be a playoff type atmosphere, honestly.
I am too. I'm covering 4 of those 5 games, and that's going to be a marathon. It's going to be fun. First place on the line, National League East of New York, Braves and Mets. Wiz, good show. Thanks for doing everything. Thanks for being a part of it again. Couldn't do without with you, my friend.
For sure. It's always a ball doing this. You know that.
I'm Rich Mancuso, Sports with Rich, every Tuesday night live, 10 p.m. on the SLG Network. We'll be back on all social media platforms next week. We're on YouTube. Get me there, Rich Mancuso on my channel or the SLG Network. Like, comment, subscribe. I'm at Ring786 on Twitter, Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso, Instagram, Mancuso786. Read my material, my content, LatinoSports.com, NewYorkSportsDay.com, and some other websites I write for. Wiz, where did it get you? And, of course, I know you're a great writer also with LatinoSports.com.
Yeah, follow me on Twitter, RobertRiz994, Instagram, RRizzo4, Facebook, Robert Rizzo, and as Rich said, we're both on Latino Sports, posting daily content check us out. Boxing, baseball, everything you name it, it's there.
Next week, that's to be determined, but we'll have one or two here, as always, from the sports world, as we always do. And we enjoy listening to you, your comments all the time. Stay in touch with us. Have a good week, everyone, and stay safe, be well. Wiz, what do we say?
Keep it in the ring.
Keep it in the wing, everyone. God bless. Be safe. Thanks for watching. Your support is important. Like, comment, and subscribe. This is Sports with Rich. I'm Rich Mancuso for the Wiz Robert Rizway. Good night, everyone. Keep it in the ring.